name is Megan Kellett, and I'm from the Better Business Bureau of Eastern Massachusetts, Maine, Vermont, and Rhode Island. And I'm a community outreach specialist. There's two of us. I'm actually fairly new. I've been with the Better Business Bureau for about 5 or 6 months now, and I've really learned a lot about what we're going to talk about today, what the Better Business Bureau is, what we do, the free services and programs that we offer to the public, and then also talk about identity theft and scams and fraud. So, are you familiar with the Better Business Bureau? Somewhat. Have you been to bbb.org before, our website?
Once or twice.
Once or twice, yeah. So we're actually this huge free resource tool for the public, and we really want people to go to our website and check out a business or a charity before you do business with them. So we have over 4.5 million business reviews on bbb.org, and on a business review, you'd find any information that you would want to know about a business. It has all their licensing information, their hours of operation, the service area. You can see customer reviews that other people have wrote about the business, and we also provide a letter grade for every business on there. And it's just like school, A+ through F. And so this is just for you to judge whether or not you want to do business with them, how ethical the business is, and so we just provide all that information that you would want to know before you do business with a company. And so of those 4.5 million business reviews on bbb.org, there's actually 400,000 of them that are credited with the Better Business Bureau. And that means that they've lived up to a set of 8 standards of trust and been deemed worthy of that accreditation. So if you see that BBB logo on next to a business, then you know that that is a legitimate, ethical, trustworthy business. And so some of those standards are advertised honestly. We've been around for over 100 years, and we were actually founded on the basis of truth in advertising. We were founded by businessmen who were unhappy with the way that other businesses were falsely advertising themselves, and something obviously had to be done about it. We still see this today. We see, those something for a magic elixir that if you take this, you will lose 20 pounds without, changing your exercising or eating habits or anything. And obviously, this isn't true, and it's been around forever, and something had to be done about it. And so we still continue to monitor and review advertisements and make sure that companies are advertising honestly. Another one of the 8 standards that accredited businesses live up to is that they respond in a timely manner. And this is an added benefit of doing business with an accredited business. Accredited businesses have to respond to formal complaints filed with the Better Business Bureau within 30 days. So we act as that third-party mediator between complaint handling, for accredited and non-accredited businesses, but we just can't guarantee that non-accredited businesses are going to respond at all, let alone within that first 30 days. So this is just an added appeal of doing business with an accredited business. Another one of those 8 standards of trust is how, businesses safeguard our personal information. And of course, in this day and age, that's so important. That's why we're here today, to talk about identity theft, but we need to be so careful with protecting our own personal information that we want to know that the businesses that we're signing that information off to are protecting the information as well. That they're only taking the information when they absolutely need it to conduct business, how they're disposing of that information, how they're storing that information, who has access to it, everything like that. So that kind of leads into what we're talking about today, which is identity theft and scams and fraud. And there's actually an entire section on bbb.org called BBB Scam Stopper. And you can actually sign up to receive a weekly email that tells you all of the current scams that are circulating in your community that you might want to keep your eye out for. And I know everybody gets a ton of emails every day, but this is an email you want to get just so you don't fall victim to having somebody get a hold of any sensitive information. So does anybody have any stories or experiences with, maybe some scams that they've seen or somebody they know that has had their identity stolen? No? Usually everybody has a story, but so we'll talk a little bit, about identity theft. And identity theft is a crime that involves the illegal access and use of an individual's personal and or financial information. With the internet becoming what it has, it's so easy for these fraudsters to get a hold of that information. And some common scams that they get this information from us is credit card skimming. And this is stealing a victim's credit card info during a legitimate transaction. So if you are online shopping or something and you give your personal information, or if you're at a business and somebody sees your credit card, or even if you go to the grocery store and you're standing in line and you have your credit card out in your hand, and somebody might see that and take a picture with their smartphone, and now they have your access to your information. Another one is dumpster diving, if somebody just goes through your trash and finds information that way. Hacking, electronically breaking into personal computers, databases of financial institutions, stealing a wallet or purse, of course, and then phishing. And this is one of the most common ones. Phishing is when you receive it's using spam email or phone to pose as legitimate organizations to lure victims into revealing bank account information, passwords, PINs, social security numbers, or other types of confidential information. And this is so tricky because I see it all the time. I get these emails all the time when you receive an email and it looks like maybe it's from your bank. So I have Bank of America, or if it looks like it's from Comcast. And this might be something you might typically normally get emails from these places, and just something a little bit different's off. So it's a sound-alike name or look-alike name, and so maybe instead of being from Comcast.net, it's from Comcast.org, and it doesn't catch your eye right away, so you click on it. And once the inside of the email looks legitimate too. It has all the same logos, all the same coloring, everything like that. Nothing really catches your eye that, that's a red flag. It's not obvious. But what's different about these emails is it actually contains a link in it that will, if you click on it, will bring you to another page. And that page will actually download a virus onto your computer. And that virus, that malware, will go in and search for any sensitive information that it can find. And I know I heard you talking a little bit earlier before we started that you said you read something that was scary, that they get your information and then they'll wait sometimes a year or so before they start using that information. So this is another tricky part of it, because not only are these scams not these huge, big, obvious red flags anymore, but when they do get a hold of our information, we might not know right away because they'll wait and they'll hold on to it for months or for a year or anything like that. And they also sometimes won't make big purchases either. They'll make small purchases that we might not notice right away if we're not checking our receipts against our bank statements weekly. That's something that we advise people to do, definitely. I know I never knew or thought to do that before I started working here, but now, I always will make sure that I check my bank statements, and because sometimes they are just those small charges, $7.35, and it's not catching our eye right away, and we might not think, that even if it's $1, if it's a $1 charge, this isn't worth complaining about. But if that fraudster is taking $1 from a million people, that's $1 million that fraudster has. It's only one for us, but so just being, cautious and looking out for things like this is so important. So some of the ways we can protect ourselves from identity theft is safeguarding our personal information. And so some tips, I guess, are keep all personal and financial records in a locked storage device or in a password-protected electric file. So especially if you have roommates, or if you're having work done on your house or people are coming over, just to make sure that any personal information is stored and people don't have access to it. Because what we know is that there's so many fraudsters out there, and they're just, if they come across your personal information, they're going to steal it. So also another tip is protecting our social security number. This is one of the most important things that we can obviously protect. Another one is, like I said, monitor bank and credit card accounts. Another is regularly check your credit reports, and you can actually get a free credit report every year. And this is something that you definitely want to do to make sure that your identity hasn't been stolen. Yeah, so it's actually annualcreditreport.org. And I know, I don't think it's on the brochure, but
will it give it to you on the computer?
I believe so. I think, I'm not sure, I haven't done it yet, but
It says annualcreditreport.com.
it does. Oh, on here? Sorry, annualcreditreport.com. Yeah, so that you can do that to check your credit report. Another thing is to check out a business or organization on bbb.org, like I mentioned. So before hiring a contractor or something like that, because we can also be scammed in person. Contractors that go door to door and might say some things to you like, I'm in the neighborhood, I just did work down the street, I'm only here for a short amount of time, I noticed you needed some work done, and they'll use these pressure tactics to try to make you feel like you have to make a decision right then and there. They'll say, I'll give you a discount, give me the deposit today, I'll come back tomorrow. Then they're gone forever and you're out of that money. So just knowing in general that no decision has to be made right then and there. You always have time to ask questions, ask for information in writing, talk to somebody, and make your decision. If the deal is there today, it should be there tomorrow if it's a legitimate deal. So if you're a victim of identity theft, of course, close all accounts you believe were tampered with. And you can place a fraud alert by reporting to one of the three, and this is on there too, one of the three reporting companies, and you actually only have to report to one of them, and by law they have to report to the other two. And keep track of everybody keep a file of everybody that you've talked to so you know what's happened and you have backup, and always follow up. You can contact, of course, the Better Business Bureau if you're in a position and we're there to give advice. You can call us. There's a chat during business hours, a live chat. And you can also, I didn't mention this before, of course, there's so many more businesses in North America than just the 4.5 million that are on there right now. And if you're thinking of doing business with a particular business and where they're not on bbb.org, we will actually go and get all that information for you. So if you just call us up, we'll do that legwork for you and find all that information you would want to know before you decide as a savvy, smart consumer whether or not that's somebody that you want to do business with. So I guess for scams, there's so many scams out there, of course. They can be on the phone, online, door to door, through the mail, and just some general, I guess, warning signs to watch out for are sound-alike names. So don't be fooled by names that that sound impressive or closely resemble the name of a well-known business or organization. Like I mentioned, if we get an email from maybe Comcast.com instead of Comcast.net. So just watch out for these things. And of course, don't ever click on links from unsolicited emails. Another one is high pressure tactics, and this is when a solicitor uses pressure words like urgent or final deadline, one day only, things like that, and wants cash on the spot. Like I said before, no decision should have to be made in that moment. So that's just another red flag to watch out for. Another one is emotional appeals. Has anybody heard of the grandparent scam?
Yeah.
So this is such a horrible scam. It's when they call and they say, Grandma, and they're crying. I'm in trouble. I'm stuck in Canada. Can you please wire transfer money to me? Don't tell Mom and Dad. I'll explain everything when I get home. They're crying, and it's so sad because people do fall for this and believe it.
Do they actually use the name of the grandchildren?
So from what I've heard, it's more just like they'll say Grandma and they're crying, and the person on the phone will say, Bobby? Yeah, Bobby? Or they'll say the name. And so a way that we tell people, or seniors, I guess, too, is to verify, ask a question that only they would know. Don't answer calls from unsolicited phone numbers, too. If somebody is trying to contact you and they're in trouble or they need to reach you, they're probably going to leave a message. So if you can resist the urge to answer your phone in the first place, that's something we advise people to do, to utilize that caller ID. Because another thing is when you respond to one scam, you open the door to more scams. So answering the phone or clicking on a link in an email or anything like that, and responding to that first initial scam will open the door to more. So emotional appeals, that's one. And also for emotional appeals, to be cautious of vague appeals that offer gifts or base their appeal on a heartbreaking story, like the grandparent one. So of course, if you there's a foreign lottery scam, and first of all, you're not going to win anything that you didn't enter to win. And so these are when they'll send you a check and they'll tell you to deposit the check and this one, they will say you've won a lottery in Canada. And in order to collect the prize, you have to wire transfer the money first to pay, processing or taxes or something. So people get excited because who doesn't want to win a lottery? And so they'll wire transfer the money, and then of course they'll never get their winnings. So that's just another red flag. Another warning sign is if a cash payment is requested. If you're ever asked to wire transfer money from an unsolicited phone call, that should be a red flag right away. And also if a business or an organization or a caller is unable to provide information, if they give vague information. So always ask questions, ask for things in writing. If somebody calls you and ask them to mail you information, and that way you have the time to check it out. You can go to bbb.org, like I said before. So does anybody have any questions or?
Well, I notice when I plug something into the computer on the internet, often there'll be a lot of addresses that all look alike. Or it seems like it's the one I'm looking for, and then when I go into it, they're really trying to sell something.
So are you talking about an email?
No, I'm talking about just if I were going on the internet looking for something and I plug in.
So like Google?
Yeah,
Mhm.
like Google.
So-
And then a lot of times, instead of getting the actual website, let's say it's a government website,
Mhm.
they'll even have other addresses there that sound like the same thing. And then when you open it, it turns out to be something that wants your money.
So you can actually, you might have to change the settings in on your internet browser, but you could do it so if you scroll over the website with your mouse, it will display the actual website down at the bottom of the computer so you know what you're clicking on. I do that all the time now. Because you want to go to, especially if it's a government one, ones that are familiar that you know where you're going.
I'm not sure if this would be any helpful later on. But I have my own personal laptop, which is in the shop for a different reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a software that it'll actually do a symbol of how trustworthy this
Okay.
software says the site is for. Even if it doesn't catch it the first time, if I go onto it, it'll give me a warning, like a
Oh, yeah.
stop.
Mine does that too. It will say something like the website you're about to visit.
Has malware has been prevented.
Right. Mine does that too, and that's a great precautionary step to take.
And if it even acts too slow for my liking,
You just click out of it.
the entire system, I automatically go for one of the like fail-safe things I have.
Yeah. That's great. That's a good thing to have.
$50 for one year subscription, one thing for a web root. That's what I use.
Okay.
If I think it's going bad, I find web root as soon as I can.
Yeah, I know, because nobody wants to have a virus on their computer. And so this kind of, I guess, just as another example, have you ever gotten not from the software that you have, but from this is a virus, a phishing one, where something pops up and says, we've detected a virus on your computer. Click on this link and we'll take care of it for you. So that's another one and it's happened to me before too, and you panic because nobody wants to have a virus on their computer. That's such a hassle. And this is another one of those phishing ones. If you do click on it, then a virus can actually be installed on your computer that will go in and hunt for that personal information, any sensitive information it can find, and send it right to the hacker.
I've noticed that most pop-ups, you'll see the big X mark,
Right.
which you're supposed to look a little thing like this big on the screen.
Because it will want you to try to click on that, right.
You have to click on a link, and
Exactly.
just look for the tiny little minuscule one. That's
Right. And that's what's so tricky, because the scam artists are constantly, coming up with new ways to get us. And if we don't pay attention and take the precautionary steps, and when it pops up, we get nervous or we're annoyed that we're getting a pop-up for an advertisement or something, and we're not, taking the time to find that, I guess, little X to exit out. So, does anybody else have any questions or? Well, I encourage everybody to go and check out bbb.org. There's so many different resources for consumers. We're all consumers. You can search for businesses. You can search by business name, or you can also search, if you need, for example, if you need want a fence put up in your yard, you can search by industry type and your zip code. You can also, there's a great tool called Request a Quote. So you just fill out a form of what you're looking for, the specifics of it, and you go and click on all the businesses the accredited businesses in your area that can offer it, and we'll send it right to them, and then they will contact you directly with a quote.
Do you have a list of businesses that maybe have complaints? Like when you look up a business, will it show any
Complaints. Yeah.
or anything that's gone to the Attorney General or anything like that?
So it shows government action, and then also, and this is such a great feature, the complaint. So the complaint and the reviews. So you can actually, we'll post complaints, and they'll stay on the website, and you can see the business's response to them too. And you can actually see the back and forth between the person who filed the complaint and the business. And of course, sometimes things do go wrong, and someone has a complaint, but then you can see that the business handled it and took care of it, and you can see the back and forth. Same with the business reviews, which is great.
So if you had a contractor that was kind of scamming a lot of people, it would show.
So we would, if that happened, so it would show, of course. And that would also affect their letter grade too, which you would see right away.
What do they have to do to get the F?
To get the F. Of course, if they're doing something that's illegal or anything like that, unethical. Of course, if they're scamming people, if they're a contractor, who's collecting deposits and not finishing the work and skipping town, things like that. If you're an accredited business and you're not responding to those complaints, then you lose your accreditation status, and that affects your grade too. So not responding to the complaints is another way that will affect your grade.
And do businesses in general, have to join or pay to be listed under the?
So we list both we have business reviews for both accredited and non-accredited businesses, and that the accreditation doesn't affect their letter grade, but accredited businesses pay a fee to support all of the free programs and services that we offer the public, so consumers can use our website for free whenever they want.
What do you mean by accredited? I may miss that.
Oh, I think you did. So accredited businesses, there's over 4.5 million business reviews on bbb.org. The business review has any information you want to know about a business before doing business with them, so you can check it out and make a decision for yourself. But of those 4.5 million, 400,000 of them are accredited, which means that they've been deemed worthy of accreditation by the Better Business Bureau, and they've been in business for at least a year. They have a proven track record that they're a trustworthy, ethical business. There's 8 standards of trust that I don't know if you were in here by now, but that they live up to. And so so if you see that BBB logo, you know that this is an ethical, legitimate, trustworthy business. Well, thank you. Thanks for coming out. I guess that's it.
Very informative.
Great.
A lot of things happen at the library. Associate Director Molly Klanowski explains.
Summer reading isn't just for the kids anymore here at the Whitman Public Library. This summer, running from June 3rd until August 15th, adults are able to participate in Whitman Public Library's Adult Summer Reading Program. This year, we are offering all kinds of fun programs and events, and if you can't attend any of those for any reason, don't worry, you can also enter to win a free tablet by participating in our Patron Picks display. So with our Patron Picks, you can read whatever book you'd like, or movie, or DVD. And all you have to do is fill out one of our bookmarks with your name and why you picked that item. Once you fill that out, you'll get a raffle ticket. We will put these books on display at our circulation desk, and at the end of the summer, on August 15th, we'll draw a raffle winner to win a free tablet. And there are other prizes as well. So even if you don't get the tablet, you could end up with a really awesome book. That's one way to enter the raffle. The other way is to attend our awesome programming. So this summer, we have author talks, we have craft drop-ins, we have tech drop-ins. So if you you have an e-reader or a laptop and you need a little bit of help, come on down. Nicole or I will be in here for 2 hours most weeks where we can just sit down and have a chat about what's going on with your technology. If you don't want to, if technology is not really your thing and you don't want to play with your e-reader, no problem. We have all kinds of fun crafts. You can sign up now to make this really beautiful summer wreath for your door. All of our programming never costs anything, so you do not need to pay for materials. You can just come on in and do your craft. If you want to do your own crafting and you want to meet other people in the community who enjoy knitting, crocheting, painting, drawing, or what have you, then you might want to come to one of our craft chats. They meet once a month and they just go in the community room and they are just free to talk and craft and work together to make some beautiful things. And if you just like talking about books, you may want to consider joining one of our many book clubs we have here. We currently have 4. We have the Banned Book Club, where we read banned and challenged books, a lot of YA titles. It's very fun and exciting. We have Mary's Book Club, which is mostly popular fiction. We have the Mystery Book Club and the Strong Women in Literature Book Club. So there's something for everybody. And if you don't have a time where you can just, you don't have the time commitment to join a book club, then just come to one of our brown bag and book sessions. We just come in, bring a snack, and let's talk about what you're reading and what you like about it and what you don't like about it. So remember, there's always something going on here for the adult community in Whitman. For the summer, our library hours will be Monday through Thursday, 10 to 8 p.m., and Fridays 1 to 8. We are currently closed for Saturdays in the summer, but those hours will resume after Labor Day in September.
Many things are happening in the children's room too. Nicole Monk, Youth Services Director, tells us what they are.
For the summer reading program, there's different age groups get different prizes, but basically if you meet your goal, you get a prize, and it will be a lot of fun. It's really basic, it's really simple. Once you come to the library, you can get all the paperwork and all the instructions that you need to do. In addition, there's a lot of special events going on this summer, including a Touch-a-Truck that I'm very excited about. We're partnering with the Whitman Police Department, the Whitman Fire Department, the Whitman Department of Public Works, and the Mix 1041 ice cream truck will all be bringing cars, trucks, vehicles, motorcycles into the library parking lot, and you get to come and you get to touch them and you get to climb inside and eat some ice cream again. So that will be a lot of fun. There's also a stuffed animal sleepover that's going on at the end of July. And there will be a lot of weekly events as well. Depending on the age group, there are 3 different story times each week for children 0 to 3, 1 for children 3 to 6, and of course pajama story time is every Thursday and is open to all ages. The fun doesn't stop at 6 though. There's a science themed program that will be going on for children 7 to 10, and a teen time that will meet weekly with a different theme every week that the teens recently voted on. There are also films that will be shown every Friday, so you can check back on our website for the schedule of what movies will be showing when, but it's a great way to get out of the heat. There will also be a few special afternoon crafts that will be going on. And of course, there'll be a summer reading finale for both children and teens. For the children's summer kickoff, we're very excited that on Thursday, August 21st, we will be having the Toe Jam Puppet Band back at the library again, so you'll want to be sure that you make it for that. And the regular schedule of story times and programs will resume in late September.
If you'd like to find out more about what's going on at the library, you can visit their website at whitmanpubliclibrary.org or come and visit the library on the corner of Webster and School Streets in Whitman.